It's the same thing.
Yeah. All right.
Look at Barack Obama. I'm sorry, I'll just say it. Nobody else will agree with me here. He doesn't know how to work Washington, D.C. He doesn't know how to do it. He goes to American University, and instead of trying to bring people together on the deal, he insults them. Why? Because he hasn't been in Washington long enough to know that you probably, when you're dealing with one of the most important agreements in recent American history, you don't go out and spend your days aggravating and insulting the other side and suggesting that Chuck Schumer is, on the same side as radicals in the streets of Tehran screaming death to America. That comes from inexperience and not knowing how Washington works.
Or it comes from having a Republican Party that has literally gotten in front of you every step of the way in terms of dealing with Iran, undermined you, brought the leader of Israel over, basically given him kind of not a lot of options.
Chuck Schumer didn't do that.
Okay.
Other Democrats didn't do that. He goes out and he says this is the easiest decision ever and it's black and white. No, it's not. But when you come out from outside of Washington and you never have to deal with the frustrations of Washington, D.C., that's how you run the country. And it's not always good, Mike, and we have historical precedents.
Yeah, but, if you go back and look at the interview, read the interview that he did with Mark Maron in the garage out in Los Angeles this spring, there's a lot in there that points to where he is today and the route that Barack Obama has taken. At one point during that interview, he says he is now fearless because of what he's dealt with in Washington. As soon as he took the oath of office on January 20th, he could have said, we're going to propose that there's going to be sunshine every day. And he had a Republican Party led by Mitch McConnell then, who said we're going to do everything we can to make him a one-term president. That's our principal goal. And he's had to fight that every single day. So his frustration at governing has been visible nearly every day in office. And, okay, he makes the speech at American University. A lot of Democrats were unhappy with that speech. A lot of Democrats were unhappy with that speech. But he is where he is today. He has the votes to shut it down in the Senate. So he's probably saying to himself, well,
Mitch McConnell went on to that interview and said if he worked with us, then we'll be glad to work with him as well. And as far as he has the votes to shut it down, yeah, he has the votes to shut it down. He's got right now, I don't know if we have the polls, Alex, but you've got the overwhelming majority of the American public against this deal, 2-1. A large number believing that Iran's going to cheat on the deal, and he's going to pass the most significant plan in foreign policy in, I don't know, 20, 25 years. There we go. 49% of Americans disapprove, 21% approve. And so he's going to, this is how you pass the most important bill. Instead of bringing people together, divide people and say you're either for me
how are you going to
or no, I'm talking about I'm talking about the American people here. I'm not just talking about Republicans. 70% are not confident that Iran's going to comply with a nuclear deal. If he had spent less time comparing Chuck Schumer and people like Chuck Schumer with terrorists chanting death to America in Iran, maybe those numbers would be a little different.
What were the poll numbers before we went into Iraq?
Well, I think it'd be hard to, at this point, I mean, there was a period of time where you could certainly claim that Barack Obama did not understand the ways of Washington in the early part of his administration. I think just at this point, he's 7 years in. I think he's been president for that long and has seen what he's seen.
Right.
I don't think inexperience, whatever critique you want to level against him, it's not that he doesn't understand the levers of how power works now in Washington. He has a theory of the case, which is the theory that Mike, I think, is putting forward. And he, again, you could argue with it that he's wrong.
And it is the same
but it's not theory. It's not now based on inexperience.
It is the same theory. It's I'm right and everybody else is wrong.
Well,
and you talk to former aides and they will tell you their greatest frustration is that he comes to a conclusion and he says I'm right and now I'm going to wait for the entire world to come to me.
And as I say,
that's not how Washington works, and that's why getting people that don't know how Washington works sometimes is a problem. John, go ahead.
Alex is I have to leave.
I know, but I interrupted you. You need to have the last.
All I'll say is in this instance on the Iran deal, pretty much the entire Republican Party came out against it before they had read it. So I'm not sure that I think you're right in terms of public persuasion. He could have done more. In terms of bringing Republicans over, not clear he could have done anything.